On today's episode of Now What the Hell?
Video every day for today and the next 44 days, and the next 44 days, and the next 44 days. Okay, I have to hold myself accountable. I showed up for day 2 yesterday, but not in a great way. I showed up yesterday despite knowing I recorded a video, a whole video, despite knowing I didn't eat all day. I had my energy drained. It was the end of the day. I had 2 really exciting events yesterday that I participated in, but it required a lot of energy from me. And I still showed up and recorded a video, and I hated it. And I knew if I put it out there, I was going to be in my head because I just, yeah, let's just say. And normally I would have beat myself up about it, right? Because this is a consistency challenge. I literally just put a video out that said I was going to show up on day 2, and I didn't show up. And I'm very proud of myself because I didn't beat myself up about it. Instead, I said, okay, we're going to learn some lessons. You cannot record at the end of the day because that's not when I have the best energy. That's not when I can show up as my best self. And so instead, what you need to do is make sure that you record earlier in the day before life kind of takes away. And that way you can show up and be who you and present yourself as I want to. And so that's what I'm doing today. And so welcome back to episode 2 of the Not Daily Consistency Challenge, where I'm bringing you along on the journey of getting unstuck in my life, and hopefully you can get unstuck too or learn something. So for today's topic, I am going to talk about something that I'm going through right now, which is the fear and freedom of starting over in my career. And so a little bit about me, I separated from my job 2 months ago, about 2 months ago. I have no regrets because I had a toxic leader. I wasn't set up for success, and I had no business, honestly, being there for as long as I was. And so now I'm in a space where I'm type A. I normally have plans on plans on plans, and I don't have one this time. And it's intentional. I'm intentionally taking a sort of sabbatical, at least from the corporate world, to really get clear on what I want next if I'm going to continue climbing the corporate ladder, because I've always had a aspiration to be a chief information security officer, or a CISO, for those who maybe are familiar or not familiar with the kind of like cybersecurity world that I work in. And so, yeah, I'm definitely in a space where I want to take the time to get to know me a little bit more, because I recognize I've spent the past almost 15 years getting to learn, know about everyone else, and have neglected a lot of me. And as I've gotten older and had more experiences, I looked around and said, I don't really know. I don't think I know what I like or what I want to do, or what, fills me up, what inspires me. And so that's the quest that I'm on now. So that way I can be clear and intentional about how I'm going to show up in whatever new opportunity that is going to come my way. I'm not completely starting over. As I said, I have 15 years of experience in the technology world. I've worked primarily in cybersecurity, specifically cloud security, for the past, 5 to 7 years. And I've been in people leadership for the past same amount of time, about 5 to 7 years. And so now I'm at a point where I'm like, great, how can I take the skills that I've acquired, right? And combine them into some new interesting ventures that I find fun. Fun is not a concept that I've ever maybe prioritized in my work. And I've had opportunities over the past couple of years, because I'm not new to content creation. I've created LinkedIn courses focused on teaching those who are new or advanced in the cybersecurity and compliance industry. Right. I've done newsletters before. I created a whole platform back in 2020. But what I did experience was some burnout. And so that had me kind of drop everything. And now I'm at a space where I think I want to pick those things back up. But I want to do it intentionally because I know I'm the person who kind of dives in head first without really thinking. And while I have the ability to execute, I know that a lot of the times I'm kind of dragging or stumbling along where I would like to walk purposefully this time. Ooh, look at the leaves in the back. Anyway, getting distracted. And so now I'm doing some discovery work. And so, what does that look like for me? First and foremost, I'm back in therapy. I know everybody talking about it and everybody doing it. It's helpful. I hope, especially if it's accessible to you, I highly encourage it as to gain some tools to figure out how to navigate different situations in life. At least that's how I approach therapy. And so this time I am in somatic therapy, which is different from maybe the typical like talk therapy, which is, hey, you show up, you have a 45-minute to 60-minute conversation with the therapist to kind of talk through the situations that you're in. This time for somatic therapy, it is more so focused on the mind body connection because that is an area I recognize I struggle with in terms of I can identify, I could talk about the feelings. It's the feelings that I tend to shy away from. And so it's how do I be able to process those feelings, right, in a healthy way? How do I create the safe space in my body to be able to process, to be able to heal, so that way I can move forward and not feel as if I'm a deer stuck in headlights every time I have a feeling that pops up. And so I'm still pretty early in my journey, but I'm, in the three some odd sessions that I've had, it has been very, very helpful about processing. So I will report back. The second part of my discovery is I am journaling more often. I've always been a journal girly. I've had one since I was a kid, honestly. While in my adulthood, I've been a little bit inconsistent. I recently finished The Artist's Way, which was a great 90-day journey. Highly encourage you to go read about it. I was inspired to do it not only by one of my favorite influencers, but also by Doechii, who's one of my favorite rappers. And yeah, it was such a great spiritual and creative 90-day journey, which helped me bring back the practice of journaling. And I also adopted less from She's So Lucky podcast, the best case scenario journaling every morning. And that has been a game changer of just setting the tone for the morning I want to have, the day that I want to have. And while maybe I'll get to 85% of what's on my list, right? Because I'm ambitious and I want to do so much in the 24 hours that I have, because if Beyonce could do it, I could do it. I'm okay if I get to that 85%, right? Because it's aspirational. And so journaling has been a great way to set the tone for myself, also continue with processing feelings or things that I'm interested in, ideas that I have. Just in general has just been a great tool and resource for me to process and get to learn myself and get to learn my needs, my likes, my wants, and things of that nature. Another discovery tool I'm using is called the Wellness Wheel. I'll definitely put it up here. But the Wellness Wheel is a visual tool that has different dimensions of your life that you care about. And for my wellness wheel, for example, I have things like my spiritual wellness, my health, my social wellness, which is kind of broken down into friends and family, my career, intellectual wellness, because I love learning and I'm always curious. And I use those dimensions and rate myself on a scale of 1 to 10. One being, I hate it here. We got to do something, girl. And 10 being, I love it. No notes. Like, we're doing a really great job. Keep up the good work. And anything that is 5 or less, I immediate attention, like Mayday, and I need to do something about it, right? I need to take a step, have immediate action to figure out how to get me from a 5 to a 7, maybe, or a 5 to a 8, or maybe a 5 to a 6. Anything that's between 6 and 7 goes into the next queue, right? And so that's the next immediate area of attention I need to work on. And anything that's rated 8 or above, again, for me, that's pretty good. I can come back to it later because life will ebb and flow. And so maybe that might change. But for now, let's pick the maybe most immediate attention things. And so once I have all of that together, that has been a great blueprint for me to say, okay, great, let me do some inner work and really be honest with myself about how am I showing up? What are my behaviors? What do I want to change? And most importantly, identifying what does if you're a 5, what does a 6 look like? What does that 8 look like? What does a 10 look like? And sometimes that might be a bit wide, right? Like that may be too far of a jump, but taking incremental steps to say, okay, well, let's go from 5 to 6. Let's go from 6 to 7 has been really, really wonderful and a great experience. And so that might be something that you might want to adopt if sometimes going from a 5 to a 10 is a little too big of a leap. And my last discovery tool, which isn't really a discovery tool, it's just maybe a practice or a theme right now, is I am attempting to give up control, or this alpha type A personality that is so fixated on having a concrete plan on what is next, and that has prevented me from just experiencing and just living and just existing. And so um, that's still a work in progress because your girl likes her checklist. I likes to check it off and say it's done. It's where I get my little dopamine. And so, yeah, I'm finding different ways to give myself that proud dopamine, I've done it feeling. Um, and sometimes that might not come with a checklist. And so, yeah, hopefully this was helpful. And you, if you're in a place where you feel like you're also stuck and trying to figure out what's next, and I'll definitely let you know how things turn out. And so, thanks for tuning in to another episode 2 of The Messy Middle. See you tomorrow.
And that's all, folks.